Hey YouTube, it's Derek Tant here, and I'd like to change things up a bit and not be a silly Billy, and I'd like to be a little informative. Yesterday, May the 5th, 2016, the FDA announced their final rule about their intention to regulate cigars and pipe tobacco, among other products. So, as I hit the news, it hit social media, and members of the YouTube pipe community and the cigar community up in arms, upset. Rightfully so. All right? But I just want to give some facts. All right? So, I mean, like, what's going on? There's a lot of people who are like, they're shutting us down. We're not going to have anything. I want to give you, like, the actual facts. Tom, the diabetic man, he's done a good job of keeping us informed. Thought I'd try to go a step further, just because I was looking at a lot of this overnight. So, I mean, how did this get started? What's going on? So, in 2009, the Tobacco Control Act gave the FDA control over cigarettes, roll-your-own tobacco, and smokeless tobacco. And they included language that said, and anything else you deem necessary. Well, a couple of years ago, the FDA, in its infinite wisdom, decided that, you know what, we need to regulate all tobacco products. For the children, So they proposed a set of rules 2 years ago, which proposed bringing in cigars, pipe tobacco, hookahs, and e-cigarettes, all under the umbrella of the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. So this is, I can already tell, I've been trying to record this video a bunch, and it always becomes editorial instead of informative. So I'm going to try my best. When they proposed this thing 2 years ago, there were two options. Well, option one was for them to, all tobacco products and e-cigarettes. Option two would be all that except for premium cigars. So that's where everyone's hope was for a little bit. And when they proposed this, they left it open for comments on the FDA's website. And I actually went to the comment section a while back and read it, and most of it was just people saying, yeah, ban tobacco. Tobacco sucks. Get rid of it. It should all be illegal. And that's what most of the comments were. So the FDA felt very empowered. So they chose the first option. They are going to regulate everything. Pipe tobacco, cigars, e-cigarettes, hookahs, and any future products. So the language basically in this 500-page document that you can read, I actually read through quite a bit of it. The language is all about, this is public health. Smoking tobacco is a risk to public health. We are protecting the public. We are protecting the public. We're protecting the people and the children. Oh my gosh, they had so many statistics and studies showing that kids are smoking. 30% of children are smoking cigarettes and blah, blah, blah. They even had a statistic saying that 150,000 teenagers in high school are smoking tobacco pipes. 150,000. I don't know. I mean, what this is this whole thing is aimed at preventing marketing of tobacco products to children. They want to make sure things are not appealing to children, like flavors, these e-cigarettes. They're saying that tons of kids are trying e-cigarettes because they got cool flavors, cherry and apple or whatever. It's all that. So they're trying to take these steps to prevent marketing and to prevent the creation of tobacco products that are appealing to teens and young adults, because it's just a gateway to cigarettes. So there's not supposed to be any selling to children. There's not supposed to be any free samples. There's going to be additions of warning labels, and they're going to try to drop the words mild and light from all these tobacco products. But that's the little stuff. The big stuff. And all this starts to go into effect in 90 days. This is the thing, all right? So 90 days from now, no more new tobacco products. That's cigars, cigarettes, pipe tobacco blends. You can't have any new tobacco products without the people first submitting an application to the FDA, which includes a list of the ingredients, a list of the additives, a list of any chemicals that are in there. All right? And I'm sure a fee. Now here's the problem. The FDA has not, they haven't figured out that process. They haven't figured out, how you're going to submit it, and they haven't figured out how they're going to approve it or what the standard really is. Their standard for approving, a new product, if Cornell & Deal wants to put out a new pipe tobacco blend, and so they say, all right, here we go. It's 50% Latakia, 10% Virginia, 40% I don't know. and with cherry flavoring, their whole basis for approval or not is this more dangerous than pipe tobacco that's already allowed on the market? So here's another thing. If a product has been on the market since before February 15th, 2007, that product is grandfathered in. So, Escudo or Nightcap, all these old blends that have been on the market for years, they're not subject to any new regulations or anything like that. But anything introduced to the American market after February 15th, 2007, these things are now subject to regulation. They're subject to control. They have to have this application submitted to the FDA in 2 years. So this goes in effect in 3 months, and so pipe tobacco manufacturers and cigar manufacturers have 2 years after that to submit the applications for permit for all these tobacco products that have been put out. Ooh, my battery's low. Sorry. To be put anything that's been made after 2007, and so anything that is made afterwards, after this new rule goes into effect in August, then they have to submit this. They also have to submit this application. But there's no real guidelines, and the language in this thing is so messed up. It's so vague that, and in the document itself, it already says the rule's going to be challenged. They already admit that they're going to be taken to court and it's going to be challenged and probably changed. So it's already built into the rules that they know it's going to be changed. So I don't know. I'm not too terribly worried, and there's no really, and from what we're hearing from industry insiders, that it's really just a money grab by the government. They're trying to just control everything and get as much money from the tobacco industry as possible, using these user fees and taxes and application fees. I'm hearing from one source that for like a cigar manufacturer to submit like a new type of cigar, it's going to be like $50,000 or $300,000. That's ridiculous. That would, if that's the truth, that would put all cigar manufacturers out of business. Even if it costs like $10,000 for one company to introduce a pipe tobacco blend, they're out of business. I'm sorry. Cornell & Deal, McClellan, these are companies that are small businesses. They're run by just a handful of people. You know, I'm sure they're barely scraping by just to make a little profit. And then you go in and say, well, you gotta submit an application. That means more people that they gotta hire to do paperwork. That means, you know, they've got to pay these fees to the government. How do you think they're gonna survive? I don't think so. I don't know how well that's gonna work out. But the good thing is that the advocacy groups, they're gonna sue. They're going to try to get this stuff blocked. I've written my congressman. You should write your congressman. Tell them to get involved. Tell them to stop. But here's the hope. Here's the hope, all right? The current production, prices, availability of tobaccos, you've got 2 years and 3 months before the government can say anything. Nothing can be touched up to that point. And even past that point, the FDA has no way to enforce this. There's no enforcement. They're just saying, we're going to figure it out. Anything that's on here that they haven't worked out all the details. And so they're just like, well, these things are to be determined. We don't know. So it's crazy. But stock up anyway. If you have a favorite blend that you like, if you have cigars that you like, over the next couple of years, I would stock up. I'm going to start picking up more bulk blends and try to get my cellar built up so that just in case the worst case scenario happens, I'm covered. I don't want to be without pipe tobacco. I mean, I don't smoke a whole bunch, but I don't want to be without. I know that just because of the frequency that I smoke, I probably have enough to last me 10 years. That's just because of the frequency that I smoke. If I smoke like most pipe tobacco smokers, I'd probably have like a year or two's worth of tobacco in there. So, let me see. Is there anything else? Yeah, it's a mess. You try to look at that 500-page document, it'll just melt your brain. The legalese, the arrogance. All right, so here's where I'm going to get more editorial if you haven't heard this already. I believe in personal freedom, personal responsibility. I choose to smoke pipe tobacco. I choose to smoke cigars because I'm an adult. All right, I can make my own choices. I don't want the government holding my hand and saying, hey, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. You know, here, I'm going to tax the crap out of you so we can put a warning label on this. You know, it's ridiculous. And it's the removal of freedom. I just believe in freedom. You know, I don't know, this whole idea of public health, I mean, I get it, and I know that tobacco is not for children, and so that should just be that's common sense, though, and that should be handled at a state level. You know, there should be no need for this. This FDA regulations, it's just going to cause the FDA to grow out of control because they're going to need to hire a whole bunch of people for their tobacco division. It's going to be ridiculous. And it's just going to cost money. And it's going to hurt small businesses. And it's going to hurt this hobby, which I love. I love cigars. I love pipe tobacco. I love it. So this kind of became more of a ramble than anything. But at least you're informed. And at least you know my opinion. So, I don't know. Am I off base? I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I think that this stuff is going to be beaten in the courts, and it'll be brought back to our favor more. But stock up now. Thank you for watching. If you watched this whole thing, God bless you.